it's Lee from colouringqueen.net, and today I want to thank you for joining me. I hope I'm keeping you company while you're doing some laundry or cleaning the house, or maybe you're colouring, or I don't know, whatever you might be doing. And today I thought I'd colour in a picture from my new Polish colouring book. The news carries through the forest. And so I thought I'd start on this one. It took me ages to decide which picture I fancied, but I thought I'd try this one and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to use my Prismacolors, as I did test all my pencils, etc., and watercolours and markers on this book, and these worked really well. And they are one of my favourites, especially when I've got a sore wrist. They're really good then, so I thought I'd use these today. So I hope everyone is well. I've had a bit of a rough week. I think I mentioned last time we chatted that David had an eye infection, and that kind of got worse, and it was a long weekend in Australia and I was busy trying to find doctors and whatnot for him. Finally got one doctor out of so many that I tried, but as I said, it was a long weekend in Australia when his eye got a lot worse, and he couldn't see or do anything. It was really terrible. So thankfully that now looks like it's getting better. I thought he might need eye surgery the other day because it just was not improving. It was really, really bad. So thankfully that has taken a turn and got better. And I've had every sort of techie problem known to man. I was originally going to do this as a nighttime scene, but I don't know. I think maybe daylight now. Yeah, but I've had so many techie problems, just absolutely plagued with them. So I broke my tripod the other week, and I still can't decide on whether to replace the tripod. It's sort of being held up with tape at the moment, or get a whole different setup, because my phone that I used to film on is getting quite old now, and I also cracked the screen on it and broke it. So it's you know, the tech equipment here is not high tech, and it's not new by any means, and so it's looking really rough now, and it's getting hard to use, and I think I should get a new phone that's got better camera video capabilities, and that's got more storage than my phone. My phone only has 32 gigs, so I can't do any really long filming. Otherwise I have to stitch it all together, and yeah, and often I forget what I've talked about and all the rest of it, because I'm so forgetful lately. But so I was thinking either I get the new phone, or get maybe a camera, but I just don't know that I'd use the camera enough, like outside of filming for here, so I think the phone might be a better option. And as I said, I broke my phone, so I definitely need to get that sorted, because at the moment it's just shocking. I was trying to get a message off it this morning and pressing so many buttons and nothing was happening. It was really frustrating. And since Millie's moved in, I've got a lot less room in the office, because she comes with her bowls and her scratching posts and her little cave, and she's got a cubby house, and she's got it all. So the lights that I use, I really don't think they take up a lot of room, or it takes up. There's only one that I can use at the moment because I can't fit the other one in. So I thought maybe just change the light to something smaller, and also change my phone because I need to update that anyway. Yeah, so I've been looking around trying to find the best deal for that sort of stuff. But last week my techie problems were just way more than that. So I've got an old website that I set up in 2007. That's how old it is. And I used to do a lot on that website, but you know, I stopped doing stuff on it many years ago, but I still keep it because I'm sort of a bit sentimental about it. And anyway, I haven't been updating it as I should because, as I said, it's kind of sentimental. And anyway, it got hacked, and you know, often when you're hacked, usually you get someone in to fix it, and you know, that costs quite a bit. So I've been hacked before, and I've, you know, fixed it myself. So it does take a while, and so I spent like half a day or a day really just testing it and fixing it, and that just, yeah, I had better things that I could have done, but it was super important to get it fixed, and it's just quite time consuming because you'll go through and you'll think that you've got rid of all the problems, and then you find another one and it just goes on. But yeah, it's all fixed now, and which is good. And it's good that I still remember to how to do it. You know, after all these years of not having done it. So that was good that I actually still could get back into it and work my way through that process. So, and then yeah, just when I got the whole website hack fixed up and updated it and put on better security and all the rest of the things, and promised myself I would keep a better eye in the future, I went to just download a photo in my colouring group so I could change the heading, because every week we change the picture in the colouring group to one of our talented members' pictures. And usually what I do is I download the photo and then I resize it so it fits better on the Facebook banner. Anyway, I tried to download the picture and I couldn't because my computer that's 2 terabytes and I've got a backup drive that's 4 terabytes was actually full. And so I had to go through and delete so many files and move things to Amazon storage, and God, I spent so long days deleting stuff, moving it to backup drives, compressing stuff, and I of course deleted all my cookies and browser cache and all of that, which meant that I couldn't remember what my passwords were for, you know, Facebook and things like that. So I over-deleted some things because I still wasn't getting as much space as I needed. So that took, yeah, it was over a period of a couple of days that I had to do that because it was so slow. It was unbelievable. It's so amazing that I use up so much space, but a lot of it is the videos. I've got like 800 videos up here, and I just keep the actual video not the source file. So I used to keep the source file. So what I was doing was going through every video and deleting off the source file, so that would save some space. And I had to delete some videos that I didn't mind losing, just so I could get all the space moved, and so I could still have all that room. And yeah, so it's quite a lot there, and I think I've cleaned it up pretty well. And what else happened? Oh yeah, and then as soon as I got that all cleaned up, I went to print out the picture for my colour by number Sunday, and my whole printer had died and it could not be revived. I spent like half a day trying to get my printer reconnected and working, and it needed new printer ink anyway. And so I don't know about you guys, but in Australia half the time it's just cheaper to buy a new printer, even though the ink package that comes with it is only a starter pack when you buy it. But I just hate doing that because it seems so incredibly wasteful. But anyway, I had to, and it was the second time it's done this, and in the end I just went and bought a new cheap $30 printer and connected it and got it started straight away. But it's just like everything is just techie going crazy around me and not working. I don't know if you guys ever have those sorts of days. And at one stage I thought, well, I'll take a break from, you know, all this deleting and trying to clean up websites and computers and everything else, printers, everything that's going wrong in my world, and I will go and mow the lawn. Which, I don't know about you guys, but we haven't had, you know, this is the first house that we've lived in that we've had a lawn together. Like I had one, you know, in the family home as a kid, but I never mowed the lawn. And, you know, David's family only had a small patch of grass when he was a kid, and so his dad, you know, used to love doing the lawn. That was his, like, real thing. He was very proud of his lawn. So this is like the first time that we've had a lawn, and so I'm still pretty excited about mowing the lawn and all the rest of it. And of course, the lawnmower wouldn't work, which I don't know what was wrong with it. It just wouldn't start, and I think I nearly ripped my shoulder off trying to get that thing that you've got to pull to make it go, trying to get that started. So it wouldn't work, and so we left it for a few hours, and then by some miraculous reason it started. And then as soon as it started, it ran out of petrol. And David didn't want to go up and get more petrol for it, so I've got a half mowed lawn, and it's a lot of lawn here, and so it's sort of just mowed around the edges where I went first, and then all the other stuff is in the middle, and it's all really long because it's been raining that much. The lawn is like a foot high. And so when the lawnmower wouldn't work, I went and got the whippersnipper thing out, and it was working for about 10 minutes or so, and I was able to, because the lawn is so long and the edges were just all untidy and whatnot, I was able to get, you know, a little bit done. And then the wire stuff that goes in it, the string that actually does the cutting on the whippersnipper, it ran out, and so we had to go up the shop and buy some more. And David didn't buy the one that went with the whippersnipper, the brand. he bought like the cheap knockoff of the string, and it really doesn't work as well as the Ryobi brand stuff, but look, it's enough for our purposes, and it's just that it's hugely long at the moment because of the wet weather that we've had. I try and darken this and then show the light as these yellow bits, but for some reason my pencil is not working that well. It's coming out a little bit scratchy, so I don't know if I need to resharpen that. Yeah, so we finally got all of those things working and whatnot, and then it was raining again, so the window to get the lawn mowed had passed. Yeah, but anyway, it's still there, and if it doesn't get too hot, I might go out later and give it another go and see if I can get this lawn mowed. This paper is so lovely and smooth. And then, of course, David and I always tend to play tag team on getting sick. So just as his eyes started to improve, well, I did get this before. When David first got his eye problem, I got a leg infection, and I didn't want to say anything because he was in so much pain, and we always tend to get things at the same time, and it kind of looks like you're trying to outdo each other on who gets the more attention type thing. So I never mentioned anything, and I just sort of gritted my teeth. So I've got this lump in my leg, and it was as big as a golf ball, but now it is as big as my hand, and it is extremely painful. But it's no big deal. I get these they're cysts. I get them quite often, and I've been to the specialist about them and whatnot, because they can be really big, like as big as my hand, or like a golf ball, and they are extremely painful, but you know, you just get over it type thing. You don't need to worry about it. You just sort of grit your teeth and whatnot, but it does make it a little bit difficult walking sometimes. And yeah, the doctors told me that it was hereditary, which I'd always assumed, because I've never met or don't know my biological father. I'd always assumed it was from his side of the family that I'd developed this problem, being hereditary. But when my mother passed away, and for those of you that don't know, I was brought up in care, so I didn't really know my mother that well. So when she passed away and I was going through her personal effects, I found a notebook where she'd listed her medical conditions, etc., which is good. And it seems that I inherited this from her. So that was a bit of a surprise, because I felt sure it was from my father's side of the family, who I've never met, and I have no idea who they are. My mother would never tell me. So I've got absolutely no idea. Wouldn't know them if I fell over them. The only thing I do know is that my brother and I had different fathers, because he's blonde hair and blue-eyed, and I'm dark haired and dark eyes, and genetics would make that improbable. So yeah, it's just interesting, the things that you can inherit from people or from families, you know. all different sorts of things. So yeah, unfortunately it doesn't help improve treating it, and the only thing I can do really is wait it out and, you know, put bandages on it and antibiotics and stuff like that. But I've had it that many times now. It's just a pain in the neck because it's hard to walk and hard to, depending on, you know, where the lump is, you know, it can often be difficult to get around. And, you know, I remember having to go to work and just, you know, trying to battle through it when it's been really difficult. But, you know, thankfully it doesn't last that long, and there's worse problems in the world to have. You know, some people have so many health problems. I just feel so sorry for them. It must be just terrible, so I don't even like to mention it, but I'm mentioning it now because I'm telling you why I didn't get that colour by number Sunday and the Monday mandala up is because I couldn't upload anything on my computer because I had no space. I couldn't even download a picture, and I had to actually choose that picture from within Facebook, and then I had to re-put in all my passwords, etc., because I'd cleared up all my cookies, etc., on the computer. And because I've been in a spot of pain, it's been very uncomfortable for me to sit down and to walk around and stuff like that. So because our laundry's downstairs, I've actually had to let David do the washing, which I hate doing because before I met him I had one washing machine, and since we've been together we've had 7 washing machines, and then I banned him from using the washing machine because he overloads it, and then it breaks, and then I have to get another one, and when I've had the repair people out it's cost more to for them to tell me that they can't fix it, then I might as well get a new machine, or a second-hand one. Actually, the one that I've got at the moment, I got second-hand off eBay, basically to wash David's work clothes, but I've been using it for everything else, and I've actually had this one now for a few years, like 5 years, so it's been going good, but all the other new ones he broke, and they just cost too much. So because I can't walk down the stairs without being in quite a bit of pain, I've had to let him do the washing. So I hope I still have a washing machine that I can use when I'm back to walking down the stairs again. That's the worst of living in one of these houses. They're called high sets. Actually, I'm just going to get a cup of coffee and I shall be back in a minute. So I'm back. I've got my Mickey Mouse cup here filled with coffee. Yeah, so what I was saying was that with the high set houses, I've got real problems with this pencil today. With the high set houses, they're great because they're above ground, and most of them have like a garage or something like that underneath. But you walk up the stairs to get to the main part of the house where your kitchen and your living room, etc. is. And most people around here, because the garages were built like in the 70s, they don't really fit big cars in them, like four-wheel drives and things like that. So they just basically convert them, although usually you don't have the height to make it legal. They convert them into bedrooms or whatnot. So ours we've got as the garage and like a tool workshop for David's tools downstairs. But and then we made the kitchenette and a laundry and a small bathroom downstairs as well, because it's opposite the pool, and so just to make it convenient when you're having a dip. But it's great, but when you can't walk very well, you can't get downstairs to do the laundry. So I'm just being basically confined here to the first level, because it's too painful for me to get up and down the stairs. Although I did make the effort last night, because my plants were looking a little bit sad. I could see them from the window that they hadn't been watered enough, because it only rained lightly yesterday and they were looking droopy. So, and the rain for some reason doesn't hit all the plants, so some still need watering. So I did go down and water my flowers, because if you know me, you know how attached I am to my flowers, and I watered those and came back up again. But I'm not going to go downstairs today. He can do the washing when he comes home from work. And the good thing about living in Queensland is it's so warm here, it's going to dry in a few hours. Anyway, it doesn't matter when it's done, really. Although I know most of you are hearing about the bushfires in Australia, and they are still going, but they're not where we are. Where we are, it is hot and very humid, so very sweaty. I've got the fan on low in the background, and the bushfires that are up this way have all been put out very, very quickly. It's not like the rest of Australia, and that's because of the humidity. Up here, it's further north of Australia where it's more humid, and also we've been hit with just rain. Every day it's been raining. It might be light or it might be heavy, but it's been good because I've been able to put some buckets etc. out and collect some of the rain so I can water my plants for days like today where it's not going to rain, and still use up all that beautiful fresh water. So I'm hoping to get this darkened up. I want it kind of very dark bark on this tree, and we'll see how that goes. But for some reason my pencil today is just being a little bit of a pain, or it must be me. It was working fine before, and sometimes they just go a little bit scratchy. The paper on this book is so lovely and smooth. What I was thinking is that when I have my Watercolour Wednesday, I was thinking of being very brave and trying to recreate this front cover. Where is it? See how it's all really watercolour-y wash? And I really like that. I know some people won't, and they won't like it at all, but I really like it. And I was thinking of doing like a watercolour wash with my Brusho products, and then maybe just doing a little bit of colouring on it in pencil. I'm not sure. I did try this before with the Brusho. I got this brilliant idea at like 4 in the morning once of how good my World of Flowers title page would look if I just, you know, put Brusho on it and then sprayed it with like a little bottle of water. And I had this vision of how wonderful it would be, and then I'd put white Posca over it to outline the flowers on that title page. So long story short, it looks like an absolute dog's breakfast, and I hate it so much, which is why you've never seen me review World of Flowers or talk about it. And I said to David, you know, for days I looked at the picture wondering how I was going to save it, and he just said, you know, cut it out of the book, it's going to upset you every time you look at it. So I think on a completed pages video I showed you the pictures from World of Flowers that I've done, but not the title page, because I did actually take it out of the book. It was too upsetting to look at that, what I thought was going to be, you know, really wonderful in my head, and it was such a dog's breakfast. Oh my God, it was awful. And I always say to people, you know, test things out before you do it in your book, but I was so confident that it would work that I didn't do it. And yeah, consequently, one day when I get a job again, I'll buy another World of Flowers book and you know, start again, because I do love the book, and I'm really sorry that I messed up the title page so badly. But yeah, those ideas that you sometimes get in the morning, you got to really question them sometimes. But you know, that's the great thing about colouring books. They're not hugely expensive to rebuy again if you need to. I certainly don't need to, I just like it because I'm a bit OCD like that. But it's not a mega amount of money, and you know, if you don't give it a whirl, you don't know how it will turn out. Like, I've got visions of doing this watercolour wash, like really splotchy, like on that front cover for this book, but you know, I really hope it'll work out. But I'm not going to get too upset if it doesn't, because I want to try it and, you know, satisfy my creative urge there. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, you never know unless you try. It's so cute, this little tree stump with all its little hidden windows in here. So I hope you guys are having a great day today. I've got the fan on low here. It's so humid. I don't want to drip sweat on the page. All the kids are back to school now in Australia, or in our state. Different states go back to school at different times, but our kids are all back to school, which is good because I know what time it is, because we live sort of a block or so from the school, which I was thinking the other day how great it would be if I could get a job there. We'd only walk like a block up the road to the school and be home in 5 minutes, and wouldn't need to get another car or anything like that. But the only job that's come up there since we've been here is for a crossing guard. So, but anyway, and because they have over their microphone, they do this little song, like it's called I like to move it, and they play that really loud so I can hear it actually down here, and then I know what time it is. And when the school bell rings at 8:30 and the kids go into class, and so I know what time it is just by listening to the school zone. So I never wear a watch, I just look at my mobile phone. I don't have a clock inside the house at all. I just look at my phone or the computer if I want to know what time it is, but living near the school I don't need to do that, because the school solves that problem if I ever want to know what time it is. But I mean, I really don't need to know. So I had this thought that this tree stump would be kind of dark with sort of sunlight shadows on it. and then like a greeny, mossy, dark sort of path, because I can't make it too green or otherwise the frog won't stand out. So sort of like a dirty ground floor on this forest, not like a grassy green, because I want Mr. Froggy to stand out. And then I was thinking of maybe just doing like purple mushrooms or something like that. Purple or orange, or maybe purple going into orange, because that should look okay up against the dark of the tree stump and the green of the frogs. So we'll see. I'd love to know what colours that you would choose. It always takes me forever to think of colour combinations and what I would choose, and sometimes I don't think enough and just choose like the hair or something and not think about the outfit as much as I should have. But that's just one of those practice things too. The more you do something, the more you get used to it. I'm just going to sharpen this one. And I won't be able to get this finished today because I just don't have enough space on my camera or on my phone to get it done. And these little ferns, they've got a very small little leaf on them over here. So I think I'm going to have to get my Prismacolor Very Thins out, because they're a harder point than these Premiers, and they're good for little small tight spaces. So I'll probably do those with those pencils, or otherwise I'll do like a wash, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to see it very clearly. I've got so many whips at the moment. I don't know about you guys, but I seem to be accumulating them. I'm working on a Clara Makova picture at the moment, as well as like this one, and then I've got my Queens of Poland that I need to finish, but I'm worried that I made a mistake on that, and I'm trying to work past that and get it finished. And I've got a Grazia Salvo picture that I'm working on, and the picture that I did for Floral Friday from Flower Haiku, I haven't finished that as yet. I've got the leaves etc. to do on that one. And there was something else. Oh yes, in Arie's new book, I've got a picture in there that I'm still working on. And what else? No, that's all, but I think I'll have to do a Whip Wednesday just to get through them all. And having all these computer and David not being 100%, and then me, it's everything's just building up around the house and all these things to general life maintenance to do. So I'm hoping I'll, get some new energy and be able to get through these things. I see the new Colouring Heaven magazine's out. Haven't got mine at the moment, but it's a Hannah Carlzone issue, which, I mean, that's going to be really popular. She's such a fabulous artist. And I think it'll be good too because you can practice on the pictures in the book and also use markers when you can't do that in her normal books, except for the portraits one that she released that was single page. So I think that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. So I hope it gets here soon. I am getting a delivery today, but it's nothing colouring related. It's the light for our pool, so that if you're swimming in the dark, there's a light in the pool so you can see. So it's exciting from a pool point of view, but not exciting from a colouring point of view. But never mind. At least it's something. I never seem to get any deliveries anymore, so get excited when I get anything in the mail. Doesn't really take much to actually get me pretty excited anyway. Happy with anything. It's taken me ages to think of what colours that I would use here. Really admire people that just know instinctively what blend they're going to use. Because with, 150 Prismacolors in the box, the amount of blends and combinations that you could come up with is just huge. So I don't think you could ever, really get the time to explore all the combinations that you can use. I tend to have a favourite for skin, and I really need to stretch out of my comfort zone on that and do something else. Because otherwise you don't learn. But I think it's good to do something in your comfort zone for a long period of time so that you can work out all the nuances in it and apply it to different faces and different profiles, and then, work on something else and do the same again type thing. Because repetition is so much of learning, and then, experimenting and trying new things is all part of that learning process. Even if you make mistakes and it's not what you envisaged, or you still always learn something from it, I think. I was meant to, I didn't think I would get this filmed today because I was getting a fan installed in the lounge room. We've got the air conditioner, but because I'm a cheapskate with the electricity, I don't turn it on until after lunch, even if it is hot. But poor little Charlie, my little Maltese Terrier, he really feels the heat, so putting the fan in so that he can sit under it and get cool, and then when the aircon's on, it'll distribute the cool air a lot more than what it currently does, so it'll have a dual benefit there. Don't know if you can hear Millie in the background, but she's woken up for her nap, and I hope she doesn't push over this cup of coffee. Yes, here she comes. Yeah, come on, sweetheart. Come on, there's Mummy's book. How about you sit on the sidelines and watch? Hey? You want to be in the picture? So I've got to order her a new brush off Amazon. She's got all these little mats in her and she won't let me get them out, all the knots. She really hates being groomed. And they did say that at the shelter, so, you know, she's getting better, but she still hates it. I get so many scratches on me and whatnot when I forget to put the gloves on and take my chances giving her a brush. Hey, she just bit me. But, so I'm getting her this little brush off Amazon that's meant to help get the matted hair out of her without hurting her, so I hope it does. And get that done and see if it makes a difference to her life and mine, because grooming her is such a nightmare. She bites me, she scratches me, she kicks her back feet up at me, and she latches onto me, she steals the brush, and she often throws it off the table, and you know, it's hard to believe that something so pretty can be so aggro, but in all fairness, she does hate being groomed, and we were told that, so it's, you know, it is what it is, and she's got so many other great qualities, and she's such a little personality, and she's such good company for Charlie. They love each other so much. They wake up in the morning and they meet by the fridge. It's like, oh, I'll meet you by the fridge for a little kissy kiss, and you know, he gives her a kiss, or sometimes she gives him a kiss, and while they wait for their breakfast to be doled out by their loving slave, and you know, then they'll often talk to each other through the day, and or sit next to each other, and it's just adorable. If I have him up on the table getting brushed, she jumps up and, you know, tries to shove in and say, hang on, I want what he's got. They're so cute. And she doesn't hate all grooming. She loves her face being brushed, and she would have her face and her little forehead brushed all day if she could. She just hates every other part of her being touched in any way. It's taken like 6 months or so to get her to allow us to touch her paws. So I don't know what went on in her life, or if she's just, you know, naturally like this, or if it's a reflection of being a rescue cat and something went on and she was mistreated. I don't know, but, you know, just, I'm hoping with, you know, more time she'll get better at being brushed, and because she's just covered in knots and they must be painful for her. It's certainly painful for me when I try and get them. She's a dear little thing. And Charlie loves having her. I think the best thing we did was get him a pet. Because he, you know, he was missing his mummy. And, you know, having the cat there is not like having his mum. It's something different, and so it gives him something to look forward to. They do have their little spats as well, but they get on really well. And I know a lot of people love it when Millie is in the picture, so I'll leave her here. I also know that a lot of people hate it because every time she's in a picture I lose a ton of subscribers. But I take my love from this cat whenever I get it, so if she wants to be here, she can be here, and I'll get my love and affection dose for the day. It's funny, when David's mum and brother were up here, she took such a shine to them, and she was in there with them all the time, and as soon as they left, she doesn't go in and lie on the bed or anything like she used to when they were here. So she just gets her little moods, I think. I don't know how I'm meant to colour this tree in with her lying on it, but just work around her. So hopefully the doorbell's going to go soon and it'll be my pool light. So I'm so excited to see what the pool would look like at night with the light on in it. So it's always the simple things that get me excited here. I've got to work out some fun lunches for David to take to work. So I was going to look up some kids or mothers' sites where they make fun kids' school lunches. Because where he works, there's not a lot of places to buy his lunch, which he usually doesn't do anyway. Usually he takes leftovers or whatnot, but looking at what he's been taking to work lately, it's not really that healthy. He used to be far better with his lunches when we were in Sydney, and he didn't work the hours that he does. Like now, he got up this morning at 3:30, so to go to work and start work at 5, so by the time he travels and gets there, he doesn't put the effort into his lunch that he used to when he started later and didn't have to travel so far. So for years I've been saying that I'll make his lunch, but he never wants me to get up early, you know, and do it, and plus he wants to change his mind on the day. But anyway, he's decided that I can make his lunch, and so now I need to just find some like fun ideas like wraps and things that travel well, and because he might, you know, be out of the warehouse for the day, or he might be on a job site, so I need some things that will travel well and also be really filling, because David often, you know, eats his lunch before he gets to the first stop sign on the way to work, so he's always hungry. Even after his breakfast, he's often eaten his lunch before he gets halfway to work, so I need it to be super filling and also not too expensive, so it fits in my budget, and also that travels well, so it doesn't go soggy, and you don't need to have 500 different little containers full of stuff to put on it. So I thought the kids' lunches might be some good inspiration there. They're usually pretty healthy, and I can get some ideas. It's been a long time since I've made my lunch. But he's super good with healthy eating. He even when he was working in, you know, full-on construction with all the guys, they'd all be teasing him about his rabbit food that he brought in, his salads and things, while they were eating their hamburgers and chips. But he's always been really health conscious about eating salads and vegetables, and always makes sure if we have pizza or something for dinner, he has a salad. I usually don't, but he always makes a quick little salad to go with it. And at work, he didn't care that, you know, the other blokes would tease him about his rabbit food, and it's not like he had a small bowl of it either. He'd take it like a giant bowl that would feed 4 people in. But he's never let that bother him, and, you know, it's worked out really well for him because he's good at eating anything. And now all the guys that were teasing him, now they're all into being healthy as well and taking their lunches, and they don't tend to eat as many takeaways as they used to. So it can work out super expensive, like $20 for lunch quite easily, especially when you eat as much as he does. But also it often can affect the energy level, which is more of the worry. But yeah, so I'm hoping I'll find a good website that's got some ideas for wraps and some nice sort of sandwiches, etc., that I can make in. I don't have to buy too many different ingredients for, and that he would enjoy, and they don't go soggy, and yeah, things like that. So that will be my project for this afternoon, as well as try and finish some of these pictures that I've got as whips. I don't know how I've let it build up to this. I guess, you know, I've got caught up in other projects and haven't, you know, finished things. But it's really plaguing me at the moment, and I really want to get them done. So I'm getting there with the tree trunk. It is taking a while. I've got to keep an eye on this camera to make sure I don't run out. The other day I was filming and didn't realise that the camera had stopped recording like 15 minutes beforehand, and so all of the work that I'd done was completely missed off the video because I didn't realise I'd run out. That's another reason why I need a newer phone. Just that I've got so little storage space. Now I'm sorry if you can hear some noise in the background. Millie's having a little snack. She's got these little salmon ball things that she likes, and she's busy eating those, and she might be making a little bit of a racket in the background. Charlie's underneath my feet having a nap. So most of you don't even realise that Charlie is in every video because he is always under my feet. But I need a desk camera so that you can see him lying there with his little legs up in the air, having a great time as he does. Sometimes you might be able to hear him snoring. There's Maltese Terriers with their flat little faces. They tend to snore a little bit, but I don't mind it. I think it's cute. His mummy used to snore quite a lot, but she was more Maltese Shih Tzu, and she was more the Shih Tzu, and she was quite chunky. She was very cuddly, and I think that made her snore a little bit more because she was so cuddly. I used to call her a little beach ball on legs. She was so adorable. I miss that little girl so much. So Valentine's Day is coming up soon. I don't know if you guys celebrate it, if you colour stuff to celebrate it, or if you do something like the whole flowers, or going out for dinner, or movies. David and I have no luck with Valentine's Day. We just don't seem to be able to get it together to be one of those romantic occasions. Like, it never just turns out, so it's just not even worth bothering about anymore. But if you do the Valentine's Day thing, I would love to hear about it so I can live vicariously through you. And we never do the flowers at Valentine's Day here. David often forgets anyway, so it's kind of no point. And I've got flowers in my garden now, so I'm not worried about that. I mean, it would be nice to get the flowers, don't get me wrong, but I'd probably prefer something else instead of flowers that are going to die, and mainly because I've got my own flowers in the garden. But if you do the whole romantic hog for Valentine's, I'd love to hear about it, and I'll live vicariously through you. You know, it's funny because David's got so many great qualities, but he's not romantic at all. He's not sort of the whole traditional romantic thing at all. And that can take some getting used to. But after 20 years, I think I'm finally used to it. So you know, I used to get upset when he didn't do romantic things at Valentine's Day because I'd had so many romantic relationships in the past, but you can't compare, you know, history with what you've got now, and, you know, you either are that way or you aren't, and you sort of get used to it. And as I said, he's got so many other great qualities that one's, you know, no big deal. It's so hot here. It's just so humid. I know when I finish this I'll be turning the air conditioner right on and cranking it up. I think I'll probably add some grey and whatnot into this tree trunk to really darken it up. So what I might do is finish up here, and then I'll probably record another bit and stitch it on, because I would have liked to get more done of this gorgeous tree trunk. So I'll be back. So I've done the tree trunk, I think it's finished, and the grass, which I think I'm finished with doing. I wanted it a bit darker down the bottom, so I've done that off screen. And I'll come back with a part 2 of this video soon, doing the mushrooms and the little frogs and the little fairy here. Millie, unfortunately, she walked over the mushrooms and I can't rub it out, so I think my plan for red and purple mushrooms will change, and I might have to make those darker because I can't get her dirty little paw prints off it, but that's the price you pay for having a gorgeous kitty. So that's it from me. Until next time, happy colouring.